Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is April 20th, 2025, and Barcelona have confirmed the injury of Robert Lewandowski. Also, the club have announced that they will file a complaint in regards to the calendar. And finally, FIFA have confirmed that no, they're not considering inviting Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. We'll begin with the bad news that Barcelona have confirmed that Robert Lewandowski has suffered an injury to the semitendinosus muscle in his left thigh. They have not specified how long the Polish striker will be out. However, reports are stating that he could be out up to 3 weeks, which means that he will miss the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid and also missed the first leg of the semifinal of the Champions League against Inter Milan, with some reports stating that Lewandowski could be back by the second leg of the Champions League. Not confirmed, but even if he is, of course, having been out for so long with no training, no practice, and very little preparation, even if he's back by then, there would be very small likelihood that Flick would end up starting Lewandowski, which of course is a big loss for Barcelona. After all, Lewandowski is the top scorer of our team. He has scored 40 goals this season. And, with a Champions League semifinal, we need someone who has experience, a veteran, someone who can convert those loose balls in the box into goals. So definitely a big loss for Barcelona. But the silver lining is that Barcelona have played without Lewandowski previously. They've played 3 matches without him. They won all 3 matches and they scored 5 goals in each of those matches. So maybe or hopefully it won't be as big of a loss. And also, this is a little bit concerning because Lewandowski's injury, it wasn't a result from a big hit or a foul. It wasn't a result of him stepping in the wrong way or making a weird movement. It's a straight up muscular injury, which tells me it's a result of the calendar. And of course, this is concerning because Lewandowski is someone who stays pretty fit most of the time, doesn't get injured that often. So let's hope that other players don't follow because, of course, this is a very important stretch of the season where trophies are either won or lost. So let's hope this is our last injury because we need all of our players as healthy as possible. Now, speaking of the calendar, Barcelona have issued a statement announcing that they're going to be filing a complaint because of the calendar. As you know, Flick, he complained about the calendar, calling it a joke in the pre-match press conference before Celta Vigo. If you want to know more about his specific statements, check out my podcast from Friday. So Barcelona followed up that complaint of Flick about the calendar by issuing an official statement saying the following. FC Barcelona has already this season expressed its disagreement with the criteria set out by the Spanish Football League and the Spanish Football Federation with regards to dates and kickoff times for the first team. We consider, as expressed on Friday by our coach, to whom we give our total support and with whom we are in complete agreement, that the governing bodies of Spanish football should be more considerate with teams such as ours who are taking part in all 3 competitions in the final part of the season. As such, FC Barcelona will make a formal complaint to the regulatory bodies of football with the aim to avoiding situations that may be to the detriment of the real stars in the world of football, the players. So Barcelona also complaining of the calendar, deservedly so, or they have every right to do so because this calendar is an absolute joke. These players are not being protected. And as I said many times before, if the league doesn't care about the players as humans and they only care about making money, well, how about you protect your investment? Because after all, that's who generates the money. It's the players. People watch the games to watch the players play football. Without players, there is no matches. Without matches, there's no money. So if you don't want to protect the players' health, at least protect your investments. That would make a lot more sense. But after all, sense is not something common in this Spanish league. Now, speaking of the calendar, or of potentially what could have been Barcelona's calendar, FIFA have confirmed that no, they are not considering inviting Barcelona to the Club World Cup. Now, as you know, a few days reports emerged that FIFA were considering inviting Barcelona to the first edition of this new format of the FIFA Club World Cup, which will take place this summer here in the US, where clubs from all around the world will play each other to determine who is the World Cup or World Club champion. As you know, one of the Mexican clubs, Club León, were kicked out because there's another club, Pachuca, who are also owned by the same owner, which is Pachuca Group. So they can't be two clubs owned by the same owner. So Club León were kicked out, Pachuca stayed in. And reports emerged that supposedly FIFA were considering replacing Club León with Barcelona. Of course, as I stated in my video that discussed that news, I said that Barcelona had no knowledge of such consideration, that Barcelona were not considering looking for an invitation because they know they didn't qualify by merit. Plus, the big one is that Barcelona already are planning an Asia tour in the summer that would generate the club around 20 million euros. Not as much, of course, as the 50 million that they would get for participating in the Club World Cup. But nonetheless, this is a commitment that Barcelona have done. So they were not looking to go to this competition. And now FIFA have confirmed that they indeed are not considering inviting Barcelona. Of course, most likely they are going to consider someone from, well, North America, which is where Club León play, or I should say CONCACAF, the CONCACAF Confederation. So since, well, you take out a team from CONCACAF, the most logical thing is to replace them with another team from CONCACAF and not with another team from Europe. That just wouldn't be fair. So it doesn't look like this is going to happen. Now, on to the next bit of news, because Fabio Capello, the former Real Madrid and Italy coach, has had some words about the semi-final that Barcelona are set to play against Inter Milan. And he also had some words about our star, Lamine Yamal. And this is what Capello had to say. I see people comparing him to Messi, talking about Lamine Yamal, but those comparisons are premature. Yamal has talent and humility, but Leo was an alien already at 16. Stopping Lamine will not be easy, but if the Inter of the treble era did it with Messi, it is possible now too. So Capello doesn't think that Lamine Yamal will be a big threat because he thinks, if Inter could stop Messi, they could stop Lamine Yamal, who's not as good as Messi. And, well, this is what I have to say. I'm glad Capello made these statements because every time a pundit has made statements about Lamine Yamal, he's always come out to prove them wrong. We know Rabia, he made those statements before the match against France, and Lamine ended up scoring the goal that eliminated France out of the Euros. Then there was those statements by that former Dutch player, I'm forgetting his name, and then about Lamine Yamal, wearing his shorts too low and not, and not having them up to his waist. And then Lamine Yamal ended up eliminating the Netherlands with one of his goals, and then he celebrated by dragging his shorts down. So, hey, maybe this will be the motivation for Lamine to eliminate Inter Milan. So, Fabio Capello, thank you for these statements. I hope Flick plays these statements day and night to Lamine Yamal right before Inter Milan matches, because, of course, we are going to need all of our firepower because, after all, Inter Milan are a pretty tough team. Now, speaking of motivation, Hansi Flick has decided to redecorate the Barcelona locker room. Now, Flick has done a lot since to change things around since he arrived in Barcelona. Not only has he transformed the squad into one of the best teams in Europe, but he's done even little things like forcing the players to wear a uniform before the match rather than, wearing whatever they wanted. Put in pictures of former Barcelona teams winning the Champions League all over the training grounds to motivate the players, things like that, just to change the dynamics of the team, even when they're training, not just during matches. And now he has decided to do something new, and it has to do with the locker room, where Hansi Flick has decided to install motivational quotes tailored to each different player on their locker room. So when players come into the locker room, they can read that motivational quote, they can get hyped, motivated, and get into the right mental state before a match. This is kind of like what Michael Jordan used to do during the playoffs. He used to do personalized motivational quotes to his teammates, and he would leave them in the locker room. So when his teammates open the locker room, they read the quote, they get fired up, and they're like, let's go, let's win this. And while Flick implementing the same kind of strategy here in the locker room, and, well, hopefully it will work, because right now we're in the final stretch of the league, or of the season, I should say, and we need all of our players fired up, motivated, because right now the players are tired. There's still plenty of competition left, but so they're gonna have to dig deep and get everything and give everything they got if they want to, of course, win more trophies. Anyways, this is all the news for this video. We'll be uploading 2 more videos because there's a lot of news to cover. So stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Barça.